All right, plant lovers, I want to talk about the 3 main reasons why your plants might not be growing exactly how you want them to be growing in your gardens outdoors. Now, the 3 themes that we're going to be talking about are the soil, the water, and the sunlight. The foundations for any happy plant involve creating the best combination of those 3 things together according to what your plant needs. So starting with the soil. The soil is a mixture of inorganic and organic materials. In particular, clay, sand, rock, those are our inorganic materials. And then organic materials such as decaying fallen leaves, old plant material, animal feces, branches, things like that. Those are our naturally occurring organic matter. Now every garden, every part of the country, every part of the world has different combinations of these things which create the structure, texture, quality of the soil in your particular garden. So when we're talking about having the best garden soil, we need soil that has nutrients, that has room for water, has room for air. And so within the soil, there's really a couple different kinds of potential soils you might have. It could be a clay soil, a sandy soil, or a silty or loamy soil. Silty and loamy soils are generally really nice soils. You don't really need to do much. Your plants are going to be happily growing in them. Clay soils and sandy soils both have their pros and cons, but they both need a little bit of work in order to improve the structure of those soils. Clay soil, it's super heavy, it can get very compacted, but it has really great ability to hold in water and nutrients, which is really nice. But as it gets compacted, it eliminates the airspace. So if you have clay soil, you need to work on improving the amount of air in that soil. If you have super sandy soil, it has a lot of airspace, but water drains really quickly and nutrients don't really retain themselves well in that soil. So you need to improve upon that. Now the way to improve both clay soils or sandy soils, it's the same solution, which makes it pretty easy. And that involves the addition of extra organic matters. Some of the most common types of organic matters are things like our bark mulches, fallen leaves, wood chips, pine, straw, and of course the best of them all is compost. So by adding in these organic matters into our clay soil, what happens is as they break down, they integrate themselves into the soil, and that's going to make your soil a little bit lighter, a little bit airier. That's going to be better for the roots, and it's also going to be easier for you to dig into that soil. Sandy soils, by adding that organic matter, you're going to improve the water retentive abilities of that soil and also the quantity of nutrients in the soil and its ability to hold those nutrients in that soil. So for me here in my garden in Westchester, Pennsylvania, Zone 6B, the way that I try to improve my clay soil is I add raw wood chips to my garden beds every autumn, a nice, few inch layer, and over time those wood chips, they break down and they enter into that soil and really improve the soil in my garden beds. If you have smaller garden spaces, utilizing compost is the king of the crop, but if you have huge garden beds, it can be really challenging to add in lots of compost. The yearly addition of bark mulches or other sorts of mulches is also a very traditional and great way to improve your garden beds. Namely, while you're adding the mulches, it's going to conserve moisture, it's going to keep the weeds at bay, it's going to give that finished look. But we're always having to reapply it because it does break down, but that's a good thing because it enters into your soil and really helps improve the structure of your soil. Now the next thing is to think about water. When we are getting our new plants established in our garden beds, it's imperative that we always baby those baby plants. We need to make sure they never go long periods of time without water because baby plants, if they dry out, their root systems aren't well established enough, they can't go looking for water in the soil. So even a week of being overly dry, that can cause them to wither and die, and that's a waste of money. We don't want to do that. So we really want to keep our eye on young plants as well as possible. Once the plants are established by that 2nd, 3rd year, they're generally going to be able to find water more easily in the soil. It's also very dependent on what plants you're growing. You need to be aware of the plant that you're growing. If it is a water-loving plant like a hydrangea macrophylla, that you might need to add irrigation system. Irrigation systems are easy to set up. They're really affordable these days. I have an awesome video on how to set one up easily. Just check the video description for a link to that video. Or if you're growing drought tolerant plants like daylilies, once you get those established by like their 3rd year, even hot, dry summers, they're generally gonna be fine. But when it comes to watering, the rule of thumb is to do less frequent watering, but do deeper waterings when you are actually watering. If you do a lot of light waters more frequently, what ends up happening is that the roots of your plants, they never really dig deep into that soil. They stay kind of superficial, and that does not create a robust plant. When you give them deeper waters but less frequently, what happens is that it actually influences them to dig their roots even deeper, to find water in the soil deeper down, and that allows for your plant to grow much more strongly. And if you do have any automatic watering systems that go in place, throughout the summertime, and you are noticing areas of your garden that are never drying out, well, that means you're probably overwatering. So it's easy to underwater, it's also easy to overwater. Comes with experience and time, figuring out what makes your plants happy. If your plants just look like they're stagnant, stunted growth, probably means that you are not watering enough. If your ground is kind of mushy and soupy and soppy, that means you're probably watering too much. With too much water, there's not enough space for air in the soil, and that can cause your plants to suffocate. And the final thing you need to make sure you get right is the amount of sunlight. Of course, different plants have different sun requirements, and it's hugely important that we optimize the plant in our gardens for the right amount of sunlight. Plants are really slow to get going, so we want to get this right the first time. Providing a full sun plant with full sun can be the difference between a huge bounty of tomatoes and maybe just a couple. It's a waste of time and it's a waste of money and effort if you're not giving your plants the correct amount of sunlight. There are certain things you can do to manipulate the amount of sunlight. I had these peonies growing in this bed, but I had to cut some of the limbs off of the tree in order for more sun to hit that flower bed, and now my peonies are blooming much more prolifically. But that's not necessarily what I want to be doing. I would rather choose the right plant for the right place in my garden according to the amount of sunlight that they truly need. And you also need to be aware of the surrounding plants. If today this plant is getting awesome sunlight, but it's growing next to a shrub that's in 2 or 3 years going to be shading it out, well, that's something to be aware of. We're always thinking about the future of our garden beds, how they're going to evolve. That's one of the joys of gardening. That's why the garden is the ultimate Rubik's Cube. It's so challenging to really think about, but that's why we love it, because it's this thing that we get to watch evolve over time as we grow and it grows. So if you're noticing that your plants really aren't growing how you think they should be, start to think about the soil in your garden, the amount of water that you're giving them, and the sunlight that you're giving them. If any of those 3 might be off, that can absolutely cause your plant to not do its best. Be observant, watch your plants, watch how the sun travels, be aware of how much water your plants are getting, take a soil test, determine the pH of your soil, determine if you have sandy or clay soil. There's lots of different videos out there that will show you how to do each and every one of them. Over time, I will absolutely create videos on each of those topics. But for now, this should absolutely get your mind started on how you can get the most out of your plants this year and for the future years to come. But if you do have any other questions or comments, things that you think should be added to the discussion, please leave it in the comment section below. We have a thriving garden community here on Plant Vibrations. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video. We got videos coming out every single week. Thanks for joining me here. I'll catch you guys later. Ciao. If you have some blank areas in your garden space that you're looking to fill with unique plants, check out my website, plant-vibrations.com. You'll find tons of different perennials and annuals, flowering shrubs, edible plants, indoor plants that my family grows, and we will ship them out across the country and they'll arrive at your doorstep. And every single plant that you purchase from my website will allow me to continue to create content that's going to help our plant community grow and flourish.